In this video, we are going to talk about the best RPGs which were coming out in the last decade. And it's mostly AAA titles. All RPGs, is it action, is it tactical, is it the adventure RPGs? We're covering most of them. And especially we cover them all, which kind of like a selection of the best which already came out, or like games you're like, okay, that should be something I would like to play. So it's not all RPGs which came out, but that's all the RPGs which should be interesting to you and for the majority of the players, and also interesting for myself. So this tier list is more like a replication of the games I was finding, and which I also find the most interesting, and then also ranking them based how good they are, and also if I played them or not. I haven't played all RPGs, and I'm also not a fan of every RPG which is coming out. I mean, I played most of them, but some of them are like not that interesting. Some of them like crazy good, and you just play 1,000 hours. So, and this is the video. This video should be exactly about giving you a visual overlay of the games you can play and what is the game about, so you know what to play in 2024. So let's kick off the video. Starting off first, that are the most, like, these games all here, you can see that it's mostly like the games we all kind of know, which are kind of famous. So I don't want to go too detailed, and it's like, hey, we go in a specific order and start with D, C, B, A, and S tier. We just pick something out and we start over it. So one game is, for example, Hogwarts Legacy. Okay, what is good about Hogwarts Legacy? Hogwarts Legacy, I mean, Harry Potter fans. I played the game for a short while. Amazing world, good graphics, kind of fun to play. I think the story is not too bad, but in my perspective, it's nothing too engaging. It is, like, if you're a Harry Potter fan, I think it's a must-have to play. The world's amazing, the characters, but the gameplay is lacking, so I wouldn't place it too high on the scale. So yeah, I would probably give it a C ranking, maybe a B. So I'm kind of like thinking about that, because the world is good, the gameplay is lacking, but I actually also have a good story, whatsoever. Maybe I would place maybe as a B, because if you're a fan of Harry Potter movies or the books, and you like the world and you like the exploring and you want to be in Hogwarts, I think for fans it could be a good game. So if you're a Harry Potter fan, that's not a bad idea. Okay, continuing further, we're taking Starfield. Okay, well, Starfield, we just put it here, D, so we know which we are looking currently for. And Starfield it was less good than we expected. So, I mean, I think the world is good because it's a Bethesda game, but comparing to Skyrim and Fallout, and also comparing it to Cyberpunk 2077, I mean, there's like funny videos out where the people are talking about how Cyberpunk is looking and how Starfield is looking. It is really not that good. And compared to Skyrim and Fallout 4 and Cyberpunk, and you have a crazy comparison between Cyberpunk and Starfield, it is not a really good game, and it's probably the worst game Bethesda has published so far. So, I mean, it's not a bad game, but compared to a lot of other RPGs, I would place it as a B. So, we're taking like a Souls game. We're taking Nioh 1 and 2. So, Nioh is here and Nioh 2. So I'll place them both similar. I haven't played them, so I can't really. I played in a really short time, so it isn't Dark Souls game. Like, it is a Soulsborne game. Not a Soulsborne. It is a Souls game, and also for the system, and it has samurais. So the graphics are not that good, and I really haven't played it that much, so I can't really give a good comparison. But compared to Souls game, I feel like most of them are lacking as well. The reviews are not too bad about Nioh and Nioh 2. And if you're a samurai person and you like Souls games, then is a suitable thing. But we also have Sekiro as a system, with a combat system, and also most games which are Souls games, or trying to be Souls game, the combat system is not that developed in Souls games. So I would rank it more to in C, similar to the second part, but I also can't really give a good review about it because I haven't played the games. So, Kingdom Come Deliverance, an actually pretty interesting game because it brings you into the world of medieval, but like a real life version of the medieval times. And also the second part is like coming out pretty soon. So, it is kind of unique, I would say. So if you, for example, are really interested in like the typical how the world looks in RPGs and how when you're like going to a castle somewhere around your town, I think Kingdom Come Deliverance could be a really interesting game. I mean, it has potential to become even better than it is, but I think it is really unique. So I would give it a really good chance, and I haven't really played it, but I might play the second part. And it has something unique, something special, so I would place it as an B. Okay, starting off with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Well, I think that's a topic we can talk about a lot, and Assassin's Creed games, I put also only the new ones in because they are more like an RPG. The old Assassin's Creed are more like an action game. So only the new ones, starting by Origin, are the ones which are more like an RPG. And Valhalla does had a lot of like critics. Origins is a good game. I played it. Odyssey were a really short time. Valhalla really short. And for example, it takes the combat system from Origins, which is good. But the world and also the missions are not really that engaging. Also the story, and a lot of people don't really like it. Like, it got a lot of content, so the developers put a lot of effort into Valhalla. But it is a game where I would say it's not enough love put into this game. And maybe they didn't really listen too much to the community, but I haven't really played it much. But also based on the reviews, what I listened to and whatsoever, I would place it more as a C. It is a good game, don't get me wrong, but I think also the missions kind of lacking. So yeah, we're continuing with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So Assassin's Creed Odyssey just came out a year after Origins, and it is actually pretty similar. Also the world, the characters, so it kind of like is an Origin copy. And yeah, it is an Origin copy. And it is a good game. You have two characters, the world is pretty nice, the combat system is good. It does make fun to play. So I would rank it as a B, just because in my opinion Origins was better. And it is exactly like Origins, so I mean, sorry Ubisoft, but if you produce a new game, just make it different. Just don't copy and paste. It's like Call of Duty. It's always every year the same, and like, I don't know, like Warzone, you have 200 gigabytes of playtime, of storage. Like how can this game have 200 gigabytes and doesn't really even contain too much content and graphics? Like, how? Okay, so going further to after Assassin's Creed, we just finished it all, because I already spoiled it. Origins is the better version of Odyssey. It's not the perfect RPG, but it's, in my opinion, one of the best Assassin's Creed ever came out. My favorite one is Unity, so Unity is a bit better because it's also more an Assassin's Creed. But Origins, especially like after the time and coming into this world of the pyramid, the world, the graphics, the combat system, which was new and which is pretty good. I mean, I would combine it, like it was coming out, I think, shortly after The Witcher 3 and during the time of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And Origins was a really good game. Like, it was one of the first games Ubisoft was producing. And also based on the reviews, it is a good game. So, also in terms of story, in terms of gameplay, even the DLCs were pretty good. The world was good. Everything was actually pretty good in this game. I wouldn't rank it as an S tier because, well, there needs to be something special about being an S tier. But I would highly recommend playing Assassin's Creed Origins. It is a really good game. Okay, Continuing further, we take another Bethesda game, Fallout 4. Fallout 4, same producer than Starfield. Sorry Starfield, but like, yeah, it is a D tier. Fallout 4 is a pretty decent game. Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3 was better reviewed as Fallout 4. I like the world of Fallout 4. Especially the DCs were not bad. It was fun to play. Story was not good, typical Bethesda games. You had a lot of things to do in the world. It was post-apocalyptic. What I don't like about post-apocalyptic games, depends on them. It depends on the world, because some of them have really nice worlds and some of them are just great, and that would I count as Fallout 4. So when I compare it to Skyrim has this world where you just like completely immerse. It is beautiful, the music, everything kind of like brings into the world, and it's like really like a RPG feeling. But compared to Fallout 4, it does not really have this RPG feeling as the Skyrim has or other RPGs have. And Fallout 4 is, I think it's a way of like, do I prefer the post-apocalyptic world, and especially how Fallout 4 is creating it. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the world because I can't really indulge into it, and it's kind of, for me, gray and ugly in some ways. But it is a good game. The combat is not too bad for a Bethesda game. And you have great exploration. I would rank it as a B tier, just because it's decent. It's a decent game. It's a decent RPG, but it's really like a specific style for RPGs because it's not the typical medieval style. Okay, when we're already talking about RPGs and the best ones you can purchase and get and play, there's no other way that you want to overlook the chance of getting this game or the games I'm currently reviewing in this video for any cheaper way than on instantgaming.com. So even if you want to play Elden Ring now, or the DLC, which is coming out in 1.5 weeks, or if you want to play Ghost of Tsushima, get all of them together, there's no cheaper option than getting it on instantgaming.com. And thanks very much for Instant Gaming sponsoring this video. Super happy. And also, there's no better reseller to get over instead of Instant Gaming. We have a 4.7 on Trustpilot, over 700,000 reviews. The games are also straight from the reseller, so you don't need to worry about anything. There's a 24/7 customer support. And if you also want to get God of War Ragnarok, you also have a 22% discount even before the game is coming out. So there's no cheaper option to get the RPGs where I'm talking right now about than on instantgaming.com. The link is down below, so go check it out and get the cheapest CD keys you could ever imagine. Dragon's Dogma 2, also talking about that. Click the link down below and happy playing, and back to the video. We going to Shadow of War. Oh, I didn't place the first. Oh yeah, I did. So Middle Earth, or like, was it? Yeah, Shadow of Mordor or Shadow of War. I played them both. They have the similar problem as Fallout 4, that the world is kind of gray. The combat is not too bad. I kind of find it annoying with the orcs to play. I mean, if you're like a lot of the Rings fans, I think it kind of like a must-have. Shadow of Mordor, I would place it as a C. It has a good story. The gameplay is actually fun. You can climb, which is pretty good. The world is not really immersive. And it's kind of a specific game, I would say, because you have interesting mechanics. But for me, an RPG is something where you immerse into the world. And especially if you have a beautiful world, you can make it a bit nicer. Sure, it explains the scenery and like why it is that gray in the orcs and whatsoever. So Shadow of War, I would place it a bit higher because it is a good game. It also have good reviews. Shadow of Mordor is also a good game, and Shadow of War is just better. So that's the reason Shadow of Mordor is on C, Shadow of War is on B. But it's not something where like, yeah, that's a must play because I haven't finished the game. oh well, Dragon's Dogma 2, kind of controversial, especially in the last time because, Dragon's Dogma 2, it has a beautiful world, also based on reviews. The combat system is interesting. You have a lot of variety. You can have a lot of build, and also the mages and the ideas with the big enemies you can kill. You can climb up to them. You can ride them like I'm not sure if you can ride on the dragon, but it is a good game. The story, I don't know exactly. I haven't finished it because my PC can't run the game currently, or not in good frames, because in terms of programming, the graphics are really bad. I mean, sorry, but a Dark Souls 2 looks a similar good. And sorry, this game came out this year, 2024, and the graphics looks like a Skyrim. Not gonna lie. And Skyrim came out in 2011. And if you compare it to The Witcher 3, which came 2015, which have a way better graphics. Even Elden Ring, which came out 2 years ago, the DLC coming out in 1 or 2 weeks. I mean, Dragon's Dogma 2 does suffer in terms of graphics, good gameplay, good ideas, but if you produce a game where you have players with you who are going through the world with you as an RPG, and then you don't make this game like an online game, it's why? Just make it an online game, invite your friend, and then you can play together, similar to Baldur's Gate. You can invite your friends, and you have way more fun, and this game will stay longer in the market, also in YouTube. Sure, it's an interesting idea to create these type of characters, which other characters can send it to you with their information. But if you are having this mechanic already, just the people who want to play offline, they can play offline, and the people who want to play online with a friend can play online. Why are you not doing it? Because that's a huge potential missing. And also in terms of graphics, it is special, I would say. This game is special for people, and it's a good game, but it needs to be specific for a person. So before you, and you can't really test the game because the character system takes so long that you can't even send it back to Steam. So if you purchase it, I would wait till getting cheaper and maybe test it out. But for the price of $60 or $70, it's too high. And also for Capcom, hey, there are things you can make better. Okay, continuing further, we're taking Monster Hunter World. It is a game which is reviewed pretty high. It's a great mechanic. The new Monster Hunter Wilds is coming out pretty soon. Or not pretty soon, but it was just showcased a couple of days ago. So I haven't played it, so I can't really give a good review about it. But based on the reviews, it is a really good game, and especially if you like dragons or monsters and kind of like dinosaurs, it's a great game, and I would place it an A tier. I can't place it in an S tier, and for me an S tier is like a really neat game. But based on the reviews and all of the information I got from the game, it is an A tier. And if you're interested in dinosaur combat games, you should check it out. Nier Automata, a really interesting game. One thing what it lacks in terms of graphics, that's for sure. It also came out, I think, in the same year as The Witcher 3, or maybe a year after, something around that. And it was reviewed insanely. I haven't finished the game, but in terms of the music, combat, the variety of gameplay mechanics, it is pretty good. But the graphics are really lacking. The world kind of looks really great. It kind of lacks with the same than Fallout 4, but it has really good reviews, good music, good gameplay. So it's not for me an immersive RPG, but all the good reviews, it is a clear A tier because some people said it's one of the best games ever made. So not gonna lie. Lords of the Fallen. Wow, another really controversial game. So it is a Souls game, and especially from the previous games they released, it was way better than the other ones. It had interesting mechanics. It was a 2 world. It had amazing graphics. Not gonna lie, the graphics are really good. The combat system is okay. People say Lies of P has better combat system and is more like a Bloodborne. So, and it became better the last time. So I think in terms of the dark fantasy games, it is pretty good. So it could be played as an B. It's not something where I would highly recommend. And if you can play a Soulsborne game, I want to go into this game because people say it is a good game, but I would still place it as a B. Because it's not a regular, like, hey, that's a game where you need to play. Okay, so just placed here. Mass Effect 3, really interesting game. I haven't really played it, so I can't really review it. It is something like Starfield, like in the universe. But in terms of the story, in terms of the gameplay, it was really unique. A lot of people like it. So I would place it in 8 here, because a lot of people, also my friend, like, wow, the story was amazing. The combat was fine. I think it's an EA game, and that was the prime time of EA, Electronic Arts, where the games were good, which are not the case anymore, which is really sadly probably got too much money from the investors, and somehow they're just focusing on money, like a lot of developers. But for that, another video is coming out anytime soon, because it really pisses me off so badly that all these developers are just focusing on money. That's really bad. So placing an 8 here in terms of reviews, in terms of story, it is pretty good. So getting further to Horizon, interesting game. We're exclusive on PlayStation. That's the second part. Wait, can you take the first and the second part? First part, story was pretty good. Gameplay was not my favorite. It's just not my type of style, but amazing world. Good characters, good graphics, good story. Gameplay was really good. Immersive world, and especially if you like, I don't like the way you play it, because I'm more into like either swords or guns. And bow is nice, like in Crysis, but it's a bit of different, and like you need to find them, and yeah. But it's a really good game, so I would place it clearly as an 8 here. And also for Forbidden West, similar quality. The story is a bit less good, but oh my god, like the graphics, like Forbidden West graphics on PS5 is just incredible. Like, it is a good game, and both of them are a good game. The second is lacking in story and clarity, but like, damn the graphics, like, wow. And this immersion, this world is so beautiful. You can climb, good combat system. It's not my type of game, but I finished the first one. I didn't finish the second one, just in terms of time and focus and work. But highly recommend the first one. Also recommend the second one, especially if you like bow and the style and everything. Check it out. Yeah. I don't want to spoil too much on that, which are my S tier, so we're going for that a bit later. But Final Fantasy. We take Final Fantasy. Oh yeah, and Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy 16. I played both of them. I did not finish Final Fantasy 16 so far. I just purchased this year. What I don't like about Final Fantasy 16, what I like is the animations, the graphics, the time, the RPG elements, the combat system, which is pretty good compared to the old tactical Final Fantasies. Oh, and we have Final Fantasy 7. Yeah, Rebirth. So Final Fantasy 16 is a good game. Story is interesting, but the world is so tunnel. You don't really have a lot of exploration. That makes it a bit weaker. I would place it as a C tier, just in terms of fun. Final Fantasy 15. I waited for this game, I think 10 years, or nearly 10 years. No, on something 9 years. The game wanted to be the the game was teased in 2009, and imagine I was 10 years old at the time. And they want to say that they were going to be released in 2013, and the whole game was like crunched over. It was more dark fantasy, then it became more colorful. So they wanted to release in 2013, but they did not. So they released I don't know when the game came out, 2019, not sure anymore, 2018, I have no idea. But it came out 9 years later, I think, so it could make sense that it came out in 2018. I like the characters. The music was really good. The world was amazing, graphics were good. You have an open world, at the end it goes a bit more tunnel because of the storyline, which is totally fine for me. They also said, hey, now it's going more on the story base, which is totally fine for me. DLCs are good enemy, good villain. You have 4 characters, tactic and action gameplay. It is a really good game. The music and the story was wow. The ending was not perfect. It lacks in a couple of things, but it was a game which stuck in my head, especially with the music. I think if they would have released it in 2009, how they wanted to tease it with a dark fantasy, it would maybe become a bit better. But not gonna lie, I enjoyed the game a lot. So I placed it in A tier. And Final Fantasy VII, I think we all gonna know, it is also a really good game. I wouldn't place it in S tier for me, yeah. But it is similar, good, and place it as well. It is on the same level on Final Fantasy 15 in my perspective. A bit more tunnel, not an open world. But also in terms of the reviews and the fan base, it is a really good RPG. It is a really good Final Fantasy, and it is actually the best Final Fantasy ever came out. Also in terms of story, when you play Cloud and against Sephiroth. So great game. Placing both on A. Would definitely highly recommend to check it out. Yes, Diablo 4. Controversial again. Diablo 3 was pretty good. I'm not a fan of the top-down view on games in general. I think it lacks a bit on immersion. I would place it as a B. I haven't played it completely. I like the action type. I like the world. The graphics are good. It became better in the end. So if people are fans of Diablo, get it. It's a good one. But for me, it's a B. Maybe a C, but yeah, I put it as a C. I'm not a big fan of it. So C of the type of style, but I think if people are Diablo fans, good game to check it out. So we're coming now to a bit more interesting games. So we take Lies of P and Bloodborne for comparison. So we have Lies of P and Bloodborne. Bloodborne was the first game, Soulsborne game, unique, coming out after Dark Souls 2, before Sekiro and Dark Souls 3. It changed a lot in terms of Souls games, in terms of the graphics. The graphic was made way better because of that. Great open world, great world. Like seriously, like crazy type of style with this London type of vibe, good music, unique gameplay. And then Lies of P is similar to Bloodborne, just in their own type of style, a bit more story similar. And Bloodborne was a really good game. I would place it as an A tier because it's really close between A and S tier. But there are a couple of mechanics which I kind of find annoying, especially with the blood piles, because I think you need to farm them. It's not like Dark Souls that you have the Estus flask and the regain, which makes it a bit harder. The world was nice. You have the weapons. You don't have enough weapon variety compared to a Souls game, to Dark Souls or something, or Elden Ring. That's the reason I place it as an A tier, but really close potential to an S tier because of the unique setting. Lies of P also has that, but I would place it below Bloodborne. The reviews are good. People say it's the best Souls style game. So place it here. Oh well, you can also rank it a bit here. Yeah, so I would probably place Bloodborne a bit further in the line. Hogwarts Legacy, that's totally fine. Final Fantasy comes also a bit further. Diablo more. Yeah, I would place it a bit like that. Hogwarts Legacy is interesting. Fallout 4. Odyssey becomes before. Yeah, I would place it like that. Dragon's Dogma, Lords of the Fallen, Shadow of War, Odyssey. Yeah, it was more fun to play. So yeah, Bloodborne really close to S tier. Nier Automata comes also a bit higher. Mass Effect as well. Origins, Monster. Final Fantasy. It's not my type of favorite, but it's an A tier. Most people would probably place higher. I enjoyed more Final Fantasy 15, but yeah. Okay. I think that's something I can live with. So, Ghost of Tsushima. Really good game. Nothing bad. I would likely to place it as an S tier, but it's nothing where I'm like, yeah, that's a perfect game, but it is a really good game. And I will place it behind Bloodborne as an A tier, really close to an S tier. Good world, good graphics. What an immersive world. Yeah, one of the most immersive worlds, one of the most aesthetic and artistic game and visually appealing games. Like, wow. Like, it is so, like every scene you see could be a photography background or something. So, and also good gameplay. Well, I would say probably the best samurai game. And if we're talking about samurai game, oh yeah, I've said it accidentally twice. I'm not sure how I can delete it, or I need to do it later. But yeah. So Sekiro, similar to Ghost of Tsushima, in terms of combat, Sekiro is super hard. It has the actually perfect combat system, but you just have one weapon, which I kind of find annoying. It doesn't really have a lot of variety, and if you're stuck in the game, you're stuck. And if you don't finish the boss, you just need to become better. If you can't finish it, you kind of lost and you can't continue, and sometimes it gets frustrated. In Elden Ring, Dark Souls, you can always do something else. You can level yourself up. So for new beginners and whatever, not the best. Probably the hardest, like in typical, the hardest game ever made in my perspective, because you can't really do something. And Elden Ring or Dark Souls 3, like all games are difficult, but Sekiro is a top higher, and all of them is difficult because you need to become the perfect combat system. So I placed behind Ghost of Tsushima, because Ghost of Tsushima is more variety, it is more RPG. Sekiro is, in my perspective, a good Soulsborne, but not as good as Bloodborne, not as good as Dark Souls games, and not as good as Elden Ring, so I'll place it behind. So, and Ghost of Tsushima is still a bit better, in my perspective, in terms of world, but Sekiro, one of the best games. Clearly, really good game, but not on that level. So, God of War. Talking about God of War 1 and 2. God of War 1, amazing story. The second of them lacked a bit. One of the most favorite games I've played. Great combat system, great world. Better, in my perspective, better than the old God of Wars. Nothing bad. I think there's nothing bad I can say about God of War. Yeah, not gonna lie, clearly S tier. Great graphics. Like, there's nothing bad. I would say God of War Ragnarok lacks a bit in terms of the story. The first one was, in my perspective, a bit better. Ragnarok, yeah. And also in terms of mechanics, God of War was amazing. God of War Ragnarok, I don't know, somehow the emotions in God of War 1 was better than the emotion in God of War 2. The graphics were good, but somehow, because they needed to release it on PS4, I think it was also a bit weaker. I'm actually interested in playing it on PC, but I'm not going to play the game again, because I don't see it. It's not a big hype. It's like, hey, I need to play the game a second time. Yeah, I enjoyed the first one more because the story was a bit more impactful, emotional, so the first one is better. Clearly in S tier, one of the best games ever made. Skyrim. So, Skyrim, also a really good game. Probably one of the most famous. The thing is, it's probably one of the perfect RPGs, I would say. Story is lacking. Yeah, I think there's no other way. You need to play Skyrim as an S tier. Longest and best RPGs and the best Bethesda game ever coming out. The music, Secunda, oh my god. The music, the gameplay was not crazy compared to like other games, but the quests, the music, the world, the possibilities. I think we all know Skyrim is the best game. It is old, that's the reason it is more than a decade old, but I think it changed such a way and became so durable over this time that I needed to place it into this tier list of the newer games. So Skyrim clearly S tier, but not my favorite. Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. Sekiro is already off. Yeah, I need to delete it. Dark Souls 1 came out in the same month actually than Skyrim. I think it both came out 2011 in November or October, something like that. And Dark Souls 1, it was, that's the remaster version. It's better than the first one, just because they enhanced a couple of things. But Dark Souls is one of the best game I ever played. Like the world, and if you're an action RPG fan, it is a must play. Like Dark Souls 1, also in how they structure this Firelink Shrine, it is like everything is connected to it. It was genius. The gameplay, like a Soulsborne game, like there was the first, Demon Souls, and then, that's what I forgot to put into the list. I did actually, and then I forgot to include it into this list. So Demon Souls, I would play Demon Souls as a B tier, because it's a newer one, B tier. But Dark Souls 1, one of the best Soulsborne games ever. Such a good game. Not gonna lie. Dark Souls 2, good game, a bit weaker. Not as good as the other Souls game, also in terms of the gameplay, a bit more not really smooth in my perspective, so I would place Dark Souls 2 at A tier, behind Sekiro. Still better near Automata in my perspective, and I also enjoyed it more. But Dark Souls 1, classical, the world, the first Soulsborne game where like, that's gonna stick to my head. Also, I think there was the career where Namco Bandai was like, hey, we got it. We got it and we produce more games of it. That's the reason we have 3 parts as 3 titles of it, because it's such a unique, like the chances, the gameplay, the world, the bosses, the DLC with Artorias, with Manus at the end, the mage, the spells. Damn, what is a good game. I think I had like 300, 400 hours in this game. I played it like 10 times or something. Like the story, it is one of the best games I've ever played in my entire life. And I would highly recommend everyone who's playing RPGs, highly recommend to play it. So, Elden Ring, we have 4 games left: Cyberpunk, Witcher 3, Baldur's Gate 3, and Elden Ring. We are starting with Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk, controversial, huge problems in the beginning. Probably the investors were pushing it, that the game should be coming out pretty soon. In terms of the marketing costs, huge marketing costs. It sold out crazy, but it has many bugs. And the real game just came out, I think, 2023 when it was playable. And especially when DLC coming out, then you can place it as one of the best games ever made. Good, like the world, the graphics, path tracing with NVIDIA, RTX, ray tracing, good story. And compared to Starfield, like, Dark Souls. Oh, I forgot Dark Souls 3. I totally forgot to talk about Dark Souls 3, sorry. But yeah, finishing Cyberpunk first, the world, Johnny Silverhand, the open world, the graphics, the gameplay, the katanas, the weapons, also good combat. It is like Starfield, like not like Starfield, but like you go, for example, in the same club scene, but this game just looks cinematic. The immersion, for me, especially after the patches, clearly an S tier. One of the best games I've ever played in my entire life. Something to stick in my brain. An S tier, clearly, and the DLC, it was the best spy game ever made. So, clearly an S tier, even better than Dark Souls, God of War. Oh, maybe you would place God of War, but in hands of Elden. Dark Souls. Yeah, no, say it like that. So, Dark Souls 3, as I wanted to mention, in every possible way, better than Dark Souls 1. One of the games I played the most in my entire life, and it is just so good. Like, I would play it even better than Cyberpunk. It was the perfect Dark Souls. It was one of the perfect game ever made. Like, you don't have a chance. It is, in terms of the bosses, the world, the graphics, it was making everything better than Bloodborne, Sekiro, Dark Souls 1 and 2 was doing in every possible way. And then the DLC was the Ring City. Guys, play this game. Play it. It is one of the best games ever made, clearly. And I want to likely to go to Elden Ring now because it's suitable to Dark Souls 3. But I wanted to hop on Baldur's Gate 3 first. Baldur's Gate 3, the best reviewed RPG probably ever made. I played it. I'm not a fan of turn-based RPGs, but the storyline, the world, the music, the possibilities, it is clearly the best. It is clearly one of the best RPGs ever. If it would be an action RPG, I would place it as one of the best games ever made for myself. But it is one of the best games ever made, and it is the perfect RPG, especially for turn-based. It's not my favorite perfect RPG, but it is the best you can play. And this is only a personal preference, just because turn-based. But if you like turn-based, well, if you like RPGs in general, and you don't have a problem with turn-based, go for it. It would be for you probably the best RPG you can ever play, also in terms of story, and characters, and gameplay, and graphics, and whatsoever. Like, the reviews were just like exceptional. But I don't like the turn-based, so I would place it a bit higher. But it is clearly an S tier. It is one of the best games ever made. Cyberpunk and Dark Souls 3 is just in terms of the gameplay better for me, and that's it. Can I delete it somehow? Probably not. Okay. So, Elden Ring and Witcher 3. Elden Ring, after coming Dark Souls 3, and I was like, after playing Dark Souls 3, there's no way that you can make a better game than Dark Souls 3, better Souls game. And then they came out Elden Ring. The best game, the best action RPG probably ever coming out. And it is like, oh my god. I'm so excited for the DLC coming out in 2 weeks. A bit less, in 1.5 weeks. Like in Friday, today's Tuesday, video's probably coming out tonight. Or tomorrow. Elden Ring. The world, the open, like, it was like, it is Dark Souls 3, just better, and an open world. Like, in every way, it is better than Dark Souls 3. Except of one thing, the armor. The armor in Dark Souls 3 looks better than the armor in Elden Ring. That's a clear winner for Dark Souls, and I really hope, I don't know why Elden Ring's armor is not that nice, especially the helmets compared to Dark Souls 3, or if you compared to every Souls game. But like everything else is better than Dark Souls 3. So, and I played it so many times. Like I think when I was sick a couple of months ago, beginning of this year, I played 110 hours in 2 weeks, and that says it. Like I played for around 8 hours every day, and I still had to work though. I mean, not really. I was a bit sick, so I played for this time, but then I worked after, and clearly S tier, one of the best action RPGs ever made. The only thing what I would rank higher is The Witcher 3. I mean, Elden Ring is more fun to play. It is better in terms of literally everything than The Witcher 3. But, there's a huge but. The Witcher 3 had such an immersion, such a story, there was no game in my entire life that took me so deeply, that really like made me feel so emotional than The Witcher 3. It feels like an ex-girlfriend. Like seriously, it feels like an ex-girlfriend. Like it's just stuck in my head. Like 2015, it feels like I can't get over her. It is that such a feeling. And there's no game at all which took me so deeply into this world, which gave me goosebumps, which really felt something. I felt like I was in love with a video game. And that's the reason The Witcher 3 is the best game I have ever played, just because of the story, the emotions, and it does not make everything perfect. The combat is not as good as Elden Ring. The world is pretty good. The quests are pretty good. Like, even if you talk to characters, is it Trish, is it Yennefer, whoever you choose to go with. Oh, that's kind of a spoiler. Sorry. But it is. But as a combination of all things together, as an RPG, there's no better game than The Witcher 3. If you want to focus on gameplay, Elden Ring, and longevity, then Elden Ring is probably staying longer because it is just more fun and replayable. But the feeling, the emotion when you play The Witcher 3 and DLC, especially DLC in the first time. I don't want to spoil if you haven't played The Witcher, but it is the best RPG I've ever played. It is like a Baldur's Gate 3, just for RPG turn-based friends. Just The Witcher is for me, like an action RPG. The best action RPG ever. Really, a bit after Elden Ring, a bit better than Elden Ring, just because the story, the emotions. Elden Ring is a love of my life as well, but The Witcher 3 is just the story, the emotions. If Elden Ring would have a story like The Witcher, Elden Ring, it is different. Elden Ring is different. It is a Soulsborne game. It is not really like an RPG. But The Witcher 3 is for me the perfect action RPG. If you think about RPG, sure you have Skyrim and Baldur's Gate 3, but in terms of action RPG, there's nothing better than The Witcher 3. Like, I can't say it enough. It is a pleasure to play this game. It was a huge pleasure and an honor, and thank you CD Projekt Red for creating the best RPG ever made. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this ranking, or if you have anything to say like, hey, it's not my favorite, or I disagree with you, or I agree with you, please write down in comments. I'm really curious. As we all know, it's clear we need to cut it off. But if you have anything, I'm really curious if you agree with this ranking. And I hope I could give you a good chance to what is the best RPGs, and hopefully you have some inspiration to play in 2024, because I also currently struggle to find a good RPG. Elden Ring is coming out in 1.5 weeks, luckily. Otherwise, I would be really bored because I can't play anything else. All the good games I played for like 100 of hours, and the other ones I don't really want to play, or I don't want to invest too much time into it, because I know when I play Elden Ring, there's nothing else I want to play. and nothing stands on these rankings on the S tier games. So you can also say, if you're say like, hey, there's too many in the S tier rankings, maybe you can cut off these 4 because they're not S tier, but they are because they make everything perfect. But they are just not as good as the other ones, but they're clearly in S tier. Also Skyrim, also in terms of the reviews, and a must play for. Like all these S tier games here, they're a must play. If you haven't played them, go for it. And if you played them, go for A tier. And these ones are, yeah, it's like, you don't need to touch them, but you can. I played half of them. So yeah, go for it. Thanks so much. Leave a like or comment in this video if you enjoyed it. If not, also leave a comment. I would be interested if something like that is interesting for you. And thank you very much for watching this video, and see you guys in the next video. Bye.